Hey YouTube, this is 802 Garden Gurus here talking about earthing or grounding as it's known. And we want to share with you the importance of grounding your indoor houseplants. Okay, for anybody who is familiar with earthing or grounding, it's the literal process of connecting your physical body or any biological entity to the ground. Everybody knows that any plants, trees, anything in nature is grounded. And what it means to be grounded is that some part of your body is in physical contact with the earth. And when you're in physical contact with the earth, as much as possible, you have an abundant flow of negatively charged electrons that are coming up from the earth through your body. And they help your body's processes. And you can read, if you haven't read Where I Learned Earthing by Clint Ober. If you haven't read Clint Ober's book, Earthing, you must read it. It's a very good read, all about how, it's all about how, and the evidence that all the chronic diseases in our society are the result of a disconnection from Mother Earth via our synthetic soled shoes and our modern way of living. And this disconnection leads to the process where our body is constantly creating inflammation that leads to all our diseases, the chronic diseases that make up the majority of our society. So earthing is literally the process of taking off your shoes, as simple as that, and stepping barefoot on the ground. Or in many areas of the world where you can't do that all year round, it's not comfortable to do that, you can buy a grounding cable, a grounding wristband, for example, is what this is. And what this does is you plug it directly into your ground on your outlet, and as soon as you do that, and you touch your skin to the grounding band, your potential difference is brought to the same as the earth. So now you have all these negatively charged electrons that are abundant in the earth, abundant in nature, that are supposed to be abundant in us, but they're not with our modern way of living. You allow them to move freely through your body, helping your body do its processes more completely and healthily. So it goes on. Read Earthing by Clint Ober. Okay? This is the key. So what I've done here is we have this prayer plant. Okay, this prayer plant is 4 weeks old. And if you notice the tiny little root ends that have just begun out of the base of this cutting that we took about 4 weeks ago off our roommate's plant. Okay, so for 3 weeks we hadn't seen any new root growth. Okay, and then I had the wise idea to make a grounding device for the cutting. And it only took about 4 or 5 days, but as you can see, all it is a thin piece of solid copper wire that I coiled over a cylindrical device like a pencil, and one end sticks in the water, and one end is attached to the grounding wristband that is then grounded through this electrical circuit of the house via the wall. And it only took about 4 or 5 days, and in 4 or 5 days, our prayer plant cutting has now established very small roots and will continue to grow as it's connected to the earth, just like it would normally be if it was growing outside. So the importance of this video, the reason why we're talking about this, is because it's important to ground all your plants, your indoor plants, as much as possible, and ground yourself. We've been grounding ourselves for about a month now. You can buy these wrist straps off eBay. I bought these are cheap. This is carbon fiber thread, or carbon thread, which is conductive, attached to this wristband. You put this wristband on your hand, and you stick this in the ground of your outlet, and you sleep You sleep with this attached to you, or you wear it as much as possible on your person whenever you can to reduce the voltage that is induced onto our bodies by all our electrical equipment. So in another video I'll show you with a multimeter, I'll measure how plants absorb radiation of all our electrical equipment. Our electrical equipment is putting off radiation all the time, electromagnetic frequencies. And when we're grounded, we're protected by the negative electrons of the Earth. We're protected from the interference of the electromagnetic frequencies being put off by our electronic devices. And in the same case in your plants, it's equally benefit and even more beneficial for the plants to have them grounded. So in the next video, like I said, I will show you with a multimeter how a ungrounded plant is an absorber of electromagnetic frequencies, and the electromagnetic frequencies you absorb in your body are absorbed by the plant when you touch them, and you discharge into the plant. So the idea being is that you want to ground the plants to stimulate their growth.